Nick White just rewards for the talented scrum half.
Oh! Try Henry Spates! Absolutely bamboozled them. Hitting the ball hard as McCabe, straight through he goes. They won't catch Tamani. What a start for the Brumbies. And isn't he happy? It's his first try in Super Rugby. Picked up by Hooper. And Hooper is going to score the try. No harm.
It's the game they play in heaven, so they say, and there's certainly something of the miraculous in the way the ACT Brumbies have risen again after being well and truly buried last year. But what defines 2012 is a squad of enthusiastic young players and a wily South African coach, a man who's already won a Rugby World Cup for his nation and has given himself 4 years to coach the once great Brumbies back to the top.
I really believe that this team, and I've said it, is that if we play as well as we can against any opposition, we're good enough to win that game. And if that means that, you know, that we back ourselves every fixture, there's no reason why with sort of 7-8 games left to go, we can't give it a full crack in winning the competition.
Despite the usual pre-season hype, few fans gave the Brumbies much chance this year. But that changed in round 3, when the young team gave the competition-leading Chiefs a scare on their home turf.
The Chiefs are charging. Leolifano ice cool. We are back level with 4 minutes to play at Bay Park. Christian Leolifano, what a champion.
For me, looking back, that sort of 15-20 minutes against the Chiefs when we came back to actually get to 22 all, I think the players self-believed then started saying, geez, hang on, we're actually not as bad as everyone thought we'd be, you know.
One of the young players, 21-year-old lock forward Sam Carter, scored his first Super 15 try that game.
The replacement lock forward Sam Carter comes up with the goodies at a crucial time.
But more was to come the very next week, as the local team surprised everyone, except perhaps themselves, by downing the competition-leading Highlanders.
The Highlanders was probably one of our toughest matches of the year. I mean, for me it was a big step up because obviously I haven't played so many Super 15 games this year, and for that game it was a massive step up, and then the physicality of the game was just frantic and the pace of the game was intense.
Since then the Brumbies easily accounted for the star-studded Melbourne Rebels and the old enemy, the Waratahs, to now lead the Australian Conference.
Wide, now Andrew Smith, had to happen, try to the Brumbies. On the ground.
Clearly, Jake White has given this team what they need. But what is it? The South African is a former schoolteacher, and part of his success rides on discipline. The squad don't just train together, they almost live together, from an early breakfast to afternoon training 5 days a week.
Australians love rules, Australians want rules, and Australians live by rules. So I don't understand how you can have player power, because all you've got to do is make sure that the rules are set, and every Australian player, whether, you know, whatever code he loves it.
No room here for the rebel or the player power of the past, when the Stars virtually ran the show, albeit very successfully.
I've been amazed that there's been so much sort of push about player power. I just came in here, made the rules, made sure everyone understands the rules, make sure the framework in which we operate in. And as I said, Australians by nature love having rules and love having the fact that they've got some sort of structure. And I've never ever encountered anybody that sort of even looked as though he hasn't been happy with the way things have been done.
As a coach, as the head coach, are you an autocrat or a delegator?
I delegate the way that I want them to do it, so I'm a delegating autocrat. No, I'm kidding. I think that one of the things that you learn, I was a school teacher, and I think that you learn that one of the things that I really want to do is just uplift everybody.
It's kind of a self-regulated thing. We obviously chip blokes if they don't turn up to training on time, and if they don't put away their dishes or something like that. Everyone works in the kitchen certain times of the week and stuff like that, and we obviously try to build a strong culture around that, and I think ultimately it does bring us together.
Of course, it's not just rules and regulations. This Brumbies outfit is probably the fittest ever. They began hard training way back in June last year. And it's science as well. The staff work with the Institute of Sport on nutrition, and the players are fed well twice a day from their own kitchen.
there's a lot of energetic young people down here. Like obviously we've got a very young squad this year, and most of us have been training together since June. We have breakfast and lunch together with our chef Brian, who supplies all our meals, so we spend a lot of time together and we're just really enjoying each other's company down here.
The AIS has also helped with regulating sleep patterns. No sooner were the players off the field in their last South African game than they were back on Australian time for the trip home. And the players get a siesta in the afternoon too here, don't they?
They do. They've got their own sleeping quarters here. I mean, obviously the ones who live close by can go home. You're not locked into your room and tucked into bed. But yeah, I mean, the reality is there's sleep quarters here, and they eat, and literally afterwards, if they want to lie down for an hour, they can sleep there because we have an afternoon session. And obviously we expect that the afternoon session is at a certain intensity, and only way you get that is if you lie down sort of post-lunch.
Now, the siesta dormitory is something of a mystery. 7:30 was not permitted into this sanctum for undisclosed reasons. But perhaps it looks something like this.
Your foot still hurt? No, it's much better, thank you, East. I say, you aren't going to be homesick or anything awful? No, thank you, East. Then what's the matter? I say, rugby's wonderful, isn't it?
Or perhaps not. But what White is doing, as the banner suggests, is taking the team back to the future, back to the great Brumbies outfits of the last decade. The team's two greatest players are more than just names on a grandstand. Stephen Larkham runs the backs and George Gregan is an advisor. Former head coach Laurie Fisher trains the forwards, and another, Eddie Jones, is a consultant.
Those are sort of batons that they've got to hand over. The George Gregan's giving all these information to the Nick Pryors and the Nick Whites and the Ian Pryors, and all that does, it makes them better players. And if it means they end up playing for the Wallabies, then the Brumbies have achieved what they want to achieve, and that's produced the next generation of Australian players.
Tomorrow they face the test of an in-form Reds team. According to Jake White, it's a grand final. The winner is likely to top the Australian Conference for an automatic finals berth. It's bound to be freezing, so the local fans will be hoping it's horses for courses.
Yes! Yes!